Hello, my colleagues. If you think about it, teachers are really expected to be everything to everyone all of the time. Our work is demanding, exhausting, exciting, passionate, and wonderful. We are responsible for being the architects of the future, the influencers of knowledge building, and the nurturers of human potential. And we do that every day. For us to be able to do our work with active passion, we also need to have a personally balanced set of emotional skills. It's really the only way that we can cope as classes become bigger, disciplinary techniques become softer, and children become less disciplined. We aren't even allowed to call it discipline anymore. Now it's called behavior modification strategies. Since the closing years of the 20th century, emotional intelligence has gained momentum, and it is now widely acknowledged as being more important than the old IQ. Do you remember those dreaded IQ tests that children used to have to do at schools? Where on one day, no matter how you were feeling, you had to take a strange test for which there was absolutely no preparation that would result in a number that would govern how you were treated for the rest of your life. That number could not change, and it determined the streams that you were put into at school, the subjects that you were encouraged to take, and the future that could be possible. Thank goodness that these tests, known as the intelligence quotient test or IQ, have been abandoned. Research, human thinking, and history have introduced new ways for us to look at intelligence. In 1995, Daniel Goleman introduced the notion of emotional intelligence. He strongly believes that emotional intelligence matters much more than the IQ of a human being. Briefly, he describes emotional intelligence as the ability of individuals to recognize their own feelings and those of others for the management of emotions for themselves and in their relationships with others. Obviously, as teachers, we have to pay attention to our own emotional development and intelligence because our behavior influences every learner with whom we come into contact. Don't we all have those awful memories of a teacher who once said something so unkind and negative to us that we were scarred for life? In grade 3, I managed 95% for arithmetic. In grade 6, I was told that I was stupid by my angry maths teacher. I can still remember the spots of foam that gathered in the corners of her mouth as she yelled at me. In grade 8, I managed 12% for mathematics, and I have never progressed beyond that. I now joke that even my calculator is mostly wrong. Teaching is a stressful and emotion-laden job. As the 21st century grows older, we all know that behavior in classrooms is not improving, and class sizes are regularly beyond 40 learners. Controlling our own emotions and modeling positive ways of being for our learners becomes a daily requirement that is not always easy. The rate of teachers leaving the profession is an international concern. Emotional intelligence has been shown to increase with age, but if we are aware of the practices of the mindset, we can actively develop our emotional intelligence no matter how old we are. EQ involves self-awareness and the ability to recognize our own emotions. It requires the ability to be motivated from within so that we can remain positive in the face of many different challenges. We need to have empathy so that we can truly relate to our learners and colleagues. And our social skills need to be well developed. This is important because apart from modeling this behavior to our learners, we are also responsible for creating the emotional tones in our classrooms, for making sure that groups work effectively, and for setting healthy social boundaries. Emotional intelligence is also important in staff rooms, where emotions can sometimes become very heated. Finally, we need to be able to self-regulate. In a nutshell, this means that we should be able to control our impulses and negative emotions. The good news is that we can develop our EQs if we are prepared to do some work. We can practice being more self-aware and recognize the emotions we are feeling. Then we can try to recognize the emotions of others by being truly empathetic. Active listening, or listening to hear rather than to respond, is important. Picking up on clues like body language is also a part of this. Intentionally trying to stay positive in the face of challenging situations is not always easy, but it can be an added bonus. It gives us the ability to stay calm when situations become stressful, and our judgment is not impaired. It prevents us from damaging our voices by yelling at children, and it also prevents us from losing control in front of a class of learners. There's a huge difference between being assertive and confident and being aggressive. An even more difficult skill in developing our EQs is the ability to deal with criticism as something that is potentially positive for us. Instead of being angry when someone suggests ways that we can improve, perhaps we should learn to listen and think about what they have said. Emotional intelligence is not only important in our classrooms. All of our relationships improve if we are able to regulate our emotions and learn to be more aware of them. And if you really think about it, a life that is worth living is built around healthy relationships. In and out of the classroom, they add meaning to our lives and enrich our experiences of the world. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. I'll see you again.